Now let us look at the Marine's weapon and how it is structured. My goal here is to give you a way to examine things in the editor and hopefully allow you to do your own exploring later on. The Marine's weapon is very simple, and this is how it looks like. Now, as mentioned before, the unit data is where we specify the weapons data, which is the Marine C14 Gauss rifle. Now, basically this is the structure of the weapon, Marine C14 Gauss rifle. It's a ranged weapon, you know what it is. Then the components of this weapon is made up of an actor data, a weapons data, an effects data, and the upgrades data. Now this upgrades data or upgrades data object is also used by other Terran weapons. So as I've said before, a certain object can be reused and used by other units or other parts. Now the actor's data is responsible for the graphics, the visual. This is where you assign the model's data and the sound that the weapon makes. The weapons data is where you can specify the effect, and this effects data is what defines how this weapon does damage and how much damage this weapon does. And through the actor's data we specify the effects data, and thus linking both actors and weapons data. What happens is when the weapon is fired and the effect is created, the actor then displays the model and sounds. But I'm not sure about that exactly, but the point here is to show you a simple structure and how to look at it. So later on, when you look at other weapons or other abilities, you'll be able to trace from the overview of what components it has, and then go into each of these and edit their parameters. Let's look at this in the editor. So we start from the Marine and then go to the weapon. Now we know that through the units data we can specify the weapon, right? There. So let's just use this and go to the weapons data. Now when you look at the weapon, like in our example here, we see the actors, okay? We see the effects, the models used, sounds linked to it, and the upgrades linked to it. In another weapon, you also see somewhat the same thing, same structure. Here, you see that the mothership has multiple actors because it has different weapons and attacks. See, so basically, more or less, weapons are structured this way. You need an actor, an effect, then models that will be displayed by the actor, through the actor, and then the upgrades. You can skip this, as this is just optional. If you create a hero, for example, that doesn't require upgrades, then you don't have to specify this. But essentially, about these things are important. This is for visuals, and this is for the damage. Now let's go back to the C14. Now we know that through the actor we define the effect, the attack effect. Then this effect is defined through as the effect of the weapon. See? So this is where we edit the damage amount, the kind, and etc. etc. Now if you want to understand more about each of these fields, you either hover your mouse over them or examine other weapons and how these things are used or defined, so you can better understand what this means. For example, launch location, impact location, impact unit validators. These are more complex subjects or more detailed subjects that require a wiki or something else. So most importantly, now we see that the important thing is you understand that by navigating through the editor you can see the structures of certain parts, and in this case the weapon, which is a part of a unit. So through the actors and through here launch assets, we see here this is where models and sounds are defined. Okay, these are defined through here. Now by double clicking on this, we see these things. Oh, there. And the sounds. So next time when you look at other weapons, the purify beam, you look at the actors and you know that this is where graphics are created. This section is more complex than it looks like and might require another tutorial to explain what this is. But in essence, this is like a trigger or an event-based trigger. It's like when this occurs, you order the actor to do this, to be created. You destroy it. If the beam stops, the effect beam stops, you destroy this actor, and so the visual stops, etc. etc. So the marine, let's go back to it. We know that these are the parts we highlighted. These are parts of this. It's very simple, right? Okay, so hopefully this helps you, gives you an approach on how to examine things in the editor, and hopefully you can learn by yourself how each weapons are made. So if you like to make a spore roller type weapon, and just look at this, or even duplicate it. Oops. Then just select the actor, since we know that we're going to need this to define what models we're going to use. And then the effects, we know that this is where we specify damage, the missile. And this is a different thing, since it uses a unit for the missile as an ammo. So this is another thing. So at least now you know how to look at things. So if you don't understand this, then you're just going to navigate through it. See this? So weapon in here, you go there, you see this ammo unit. Okay, so that's it for now, and good luck.